talk now about, we're going to kind of move away from the theory, and we're going to talk about some of the provisions and things in contracts, and the importance of well-written agreements. Why should an agreement be in writing? Well, if it's not, the contract may not be enforced, or may not be enforced properly. A lot of times, we have a case right now that's going on that it's a completely he said, she said case, and we are trying to identify what the provisions of the contract are, because now minds have changed. I think it's 3, 4, 5 years later, minds have changed, and they have different interpretations of how this contract is. And that is a problem. That's one of the reasons that you need to get something in writing to make sure everybody's on the same page. Without a written contract, again, it's a he said, she said dispute. You're typically unable to get your attorney's fees because in Minnesota there are specific statutes to say that you can get your attorney's fees, but they are very, very limited. They're very few and far between. If you have a contract, you can actually include an attorney's fee provision in your contract. And typically, again, if you do not have a written agreement, you're not going to get your attorney's fees back. Without a written contract, you may end up being personally liable, because who's the contract between? Well, if Dan came out, and he's the one that came out and saw me, I didn't know that he had a corporation. I didn't know I was doing it with Freedom Strategy Group, LLC, or whatever the name of the company is. Okay? That's a problem. That's one of the other reasons that you need to make sure the contracts are in writing. Without a written contract, you may end up in a jurisdiction that you never anticipated. This is a big one. We actually ended up in this one just recently. Is we had a client that was more or less a mechanic, and they worked on fixed things. Well, there's a dispute that arose as a result of this. We brought an action, or excuse me, they brought an action first, and lo and behold, they brought an action out of tribal court, because the plaintiff actually happened to be part of the Prairie Island Band. So guess where we ended up? We ended up in tribal court, which is not an exit, the place that we wanted to be completely honest with you. It's not where we wanted to be because the rules are really different and we needed to kind of learn them as we went. And it was way down there, you know, it was way down south. So that created some problems for us. If you have a contract, you guys can specifically state where that, if there's a dispute, where that dispute is going to be brought. Presumably you want it in the city and the county that you're located.